Welcome to the Adult Chair Podcast with Michelle Chalfant, a place to delve into who we are, how we got that way, and explore what it takes to be a healthy grown-up. With an extensive toolbox and guests with varied expertise, Michelle will lead us on a journey to learn what it's like to live authentically and to love ourselves just the way we are. And now, here's Michelle.
Hello, everybody. It's Michelle Chalfant, and happy Halloween to those that celebrate Halloween on this October 31st today. We are at podcast number 182 today, and today I'm talking with you about where is my adult? Where is my adult? I get asked that question. I'm going to be answering some questions about our adult chair and what that healthy adult part of us looks like, how we find it, etc., etc. But I do want to mention, because it is the last day of October, this is very exciting. This is really one of the most fun things so far, because there might be new things coming, but that I've ever offered, which is the 30-day journaling challenge. It starts tomorrow, mañana. So if you've not already signed up, sign up. And I want to remind you again, if you are on my mailing list, it does not mean you get the 30-day journaling challenge. I do not inundate people with emails. So you have to sign up. It's a separate email list for the 30-day journaling challenge. It's at theadultchair.com/30 days. That's 30, the number 30 days, DAYS. So what is this 30-day journaling challenge if you've not heard yet? Because I've mentioned it every week this month. It's a beautiful journaling challenge that you get an email every single day into your inbox with a journaling prompt that I personally have created to help take you on a deep dive within the self. And what a beautiful time of year to do this with the holidays upon us. If there's one thing we want to do during the holiday season, it would be to stay connected to ourselves, which is hard to do when we're triggered, when we're rushing, when we're stressed, etc. So this journaling, this 30-day journaling challenge helps us to stay connected, helps us to process stress, overwhelm, triggers, etc., etc. There are just incredible prompts. You know, a lot of people say to me, I don't know what to journal. Well, here's your lucky day. Sign up for this because you'll have 30 days of prompts. Or I'm actually guiding you with what to talk about. I give you questions to really take you deeper into the self and think about and journal about. Writing is an incredibly therapeutic process. Sometimes it's even as good as therapy, because you just need to get it out. So come join us. And even, by the way, if you're hearing this podcast well into November, you can still join us. It expires at the end of the month, but you can still join at the end of next month of November, but you can still sign up. You'll still get all the prompts. So again, theadultchair.com/30 days. All right, so let's get into it. Let's talk a little bit about the adult chair. People ask me, oh my God, how am I going to find my adult? I don't have an adult. I never saw a good, healthy adult growing up. I don't know what to do. And they're panicky about it. Here's the thing. That's why this whole model was created, because neither did I have this parents that loved me, but there was some dysfunction for sure growing up. So the adult chair is the construction of the healthiest adult that I could possibly find. So that's what it is for you all too. It's the adult chair. When we live in this healthy adult version of ourselves, it's when we are living with present moment awareness. We are living in fact and truth. We are living with a sense of empowerment. We're living with strength, compassion for self and others. We are living with awareness of what we are thinking and doing. In other words, what's going on over next to me in the adolescent chair, and what's my ego up to, and what are all these parts doing? And also, so there's an awareness or the ability to observe and not take action on what's going on there, but we observe it and we take it in. And then we also are able to connect into our feeling place, into our true needs, which is the child chair. That's all the inner child. So when we are in our adult chair, we are able to connect to all these beautiful parts. But when people ask me, and well, we're not only able to connect to and observe these parts, but then we show up with presence and take action based on all this collection of information. All right. And it's done from a place of presence. And the one thing we're able to do from the adult chair that the adolescent part does not do is we're able to wait. We're not impulsive. We do things on time and in divine order. We do not rush. That's one of the things that you'll hear me say a lot is slow down, especially my clients. I preach this, slow down. When we speak quickly, it's an indicator we are in that adolescent chair. It's the ego speeding up. Fast, 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 fast. It's not to say, again, remember, I've said this many times, that sitting in our adult chair, we are not in this zenned out position, Indian style, in a mudra with the hands and saying mantras all day. That's not the adult chair, although it can be. When we're sitting in the adult chair, we're just fully present. We're taking action. I'm setting boundaries for myself. So from a physical perspective, our adult is when we are, again, present but living from this executive functioning of the brain, which is the prefrontal cortex. But also from a spiritual or energetic perspective, it's when we're very grounded. So we're connected to Mother Earth. We're also connected to the higher self. And when I think about the higher self, I always get this visual of like off the top of my head is a lighthouse. And that's the higher self. It's clean, it's clear, it's guiding us, as well as that soul perspective on the inside. That's why we really want to pay attention to what we're feeling. And you'll hear me say, when people ask me questions, how do I know when to do this or that or the other thing? And I'll say to them, when you feel moved to do it, it's an inside feeling that we get. So those are just some little tips on the adult chair. But also, I want to talk to you about, people ask me, where do I go to find my adult? What if I don't know what that healthiest place is? I just want you to know, because when we connect to the earth, to the ground, and to that higher self perspective, there's just a knowing that happens. But typically we're in such a hurry to figure out how to get in our adult chairs, we miss it. There's a miss. And we can't find it. And there's this frantic energy that's happening. We're not going to find it then. It's a beautiful, slow connection that we feel. And it's a knowing, like, I just feel like I'm connected to something and I have this wisdom. I don't know where it comes from. People will report to me, I don't know why so-and-so isn't bothering me. My husband normally irritates me and I'm just not irritated. I feel really peaceful. I'm really calm. I'm speaking up for myself. I don't know how that's happening. I'm like, yeah, that's the energetic part that is coming online. Because the more present we are, the more we start connecting into the earth and into the higher self perspective. And the more relaxed we are, the more then our prefrontal cortex stays online. Because when we are stressed and overwhelmed and that amygdala kicks into high gear, boom, we're out of that executive functioning. So when we're in the adult chair, it's all come together. And we just have, remember, because of the spiritual nature, the energetic nature, there are knowings that just happen. People will just say, I don't know why. I just feel like I can suddenly feel stronger in setting boundaries. I was working with a client today and she was sharing with me that she was working through last month in the membership site. We did I Matter. And she was sharing with me, she said, I don't know what's going on, but my husband is not triggering me. And all that I'm doing is I'm working on this I Matter month. And I said, yeah, that fills you up, doesn't it? And she said, yeah, I just feel like really clear and things aren't bothering me. I'm like, welcome to your adult chair. So all the things that I offer you on my website, everything that I offer you, they're all different ways to help you to get into your adult chair. So and I say this to people, they say, well, what should I do first? And there's this like mad dash to get into the adult chair. It's like, slow down. What are you drawn to? What feels right? Do you feel like doing a meditation? Then go do a meditation. Some people say, is it okay that I've done the same meditation for the last 2 months? Because I love it so much. I'm getting so much from it. Yes, of course it's okay that you do that. If that's what you feel drawn to, then keep doing it. Because here's the thing, what I'm drawn to and what you're drawn to and 100 other people are drawn to might all be different. Now, there might be some people that have the same thing, but honor yourself. This whole process of living in the adult is learning how to reconnect to ourselves and learning how to honor that and go with it. Just go with it. That's you living in your adult. Doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. Go with what feels right for you. You've heard me say this too for our adults. Like when people say, I don't know what to do next. Do the meditation for 2 months if you like that. Listen to all the podcasts. I don't care. Join the membership site. Do the 30-day journaling challenge. Whatever feels right, I don't care. It's up to you. But do what feels right for you. And I'll say this. I call it the illuminated path. It's part of the adult chair. It's like, what's the next stepping stone? What's next for you? All you need to know is what's that next stone to step on, and it lights up, step on it. Okay? You do not need to go flying down your path. You don't need to know what's way down the path. You just need to know, I will get there if I step on this very next stone. And what does that next stone tell me to do? Oh, now I'm going to do the 30-day journaling challenge. Great. Now I'm going to go back and listen to 5 different podcasts. Great. Whatever feels right for you. That's living in your adult chair. So when people ask me, where is the adult? That's my best answer for you. And again, many of us grew up without this perfectly healthy adult role model. A lot of us grew up like that. Perfectly, I don't like the word perfect, but let's say really, really healthy. We might have felt loved, but something was still off. We might have felt loved, but there were no boundaries. We might have felt loved, but never had a hug or never heard I love you. I mean, that still, there's a little dysfunction there. So what would be the healthiest version of a person? Sometimes we just create them. I create it sometimes in my mind, like, gosh, some people ask me, can I use Jesus? Can I use Buddha? Can I use Krishna? I don't care who you use. Just come up with an idea of who would be really, really, really healthy for you. Well, I had a grandmother. Fantastic. Start acting like she did. But sometimes it's like you'll think, well, I had a grandmother that set great boundaries, but my mom was really affectionate. My grandmother wasn't. And so did this. Take all the best pieces of all the people that you love that seemed really healthy to you and assemble that and start acting like them. How would they act? It doesn't have to just be one person. Assemble your own really, really healthy adult. Start modeling yourself off of them. The brain, remember, doesn't know if it's real or fantasy, or imagined. So just assemble this really healthy adult in your mind. Start modeling yourself after that, and guess what? You'll start becoming that. That's what's so cool. That's why it's a spiritual concept. And I would not be saying this to you unless I know for sure that it works. And let me tell you, my friends, this works. So the fact is you really can't be without your adult. It's just part of you that's within you. And again, it's that higher self and that grounded perspective. So getting quiet and listening is really important. It doesn't mean you have to sit in a meditation. You can go outside and just walk in nature or sit outside or go for, I don't care if you're in snow weather, go skiing. I remember snow skiing when I lived up in New York. That was one of the most meditative experiences, going down that mountain where it's like so quiet. It's just me and the mountain. And boy, I was so connected. And I remember just having these like intuitive drop-ins or downloads, whatever you want to call it, even as a kid. So the more connected we are to ourselves, the more of these really incredible insights just start coming up for us. So again, you can create this adult outside of you, or you can start going inside, finding your own adult, finding your own inner voice. A lot of us don't trust our inner voice. It's about learning how to trust that inner voice. People will ask me, is this, I'm hearing this and that. Is that okay? Should I trust that? Yes, trust it. You'll start to notice the voice of the adult versus your voices, plural, because of all those parts that come out of that adolescent chair. And the voice of that child is sometimes even a younger voice. You'll start to learn where the voice is coming from. So here's some ways, though, to really get into that adult. With practice, meditating is a really good one. Again, not everyone loves to meditate, but if you do, start practicing meditation 1 to 5 minutes a day if you're not a meditator, and build from there. That's really powerful because you'll learn how to, you're not quieting your voice in a meditation. Remember, you're learning how to witness those thoughts. Witnessing thoughts is very powerful. And you get into that practice then throughout the day, and you learn to follow the voice that comes from deep within versus the voice that's chattering in the mind or in that adolescent chair. That's why meditation is really beneficial. But remember, there are so many ways to meditate. I love walking meditations where I'm just quietly walking by myself and being present. I remember many years ago talking about a bird feeder meditation because I would sit, I love birds, and I would sit and watch the birds come to the bird feeder over and over and over again. And I was like, wow, this is like I'm in a trance. And I was in this really connected space. The key is to connect with that inner part. And we do that when we witness the mind and step out of that mind chatter. Another thing we can do to get our adult is to ask for your adult. When we just ask for that energy, like, I need my adult. Like sometimes when my brain is chit-chattering away and I feel myself starting to spin, I'm like, where's my adult? I need my adult. And then I pause. And then I'll feel something come in. I'm like, oh, there's that good energy. Now I know what to say. Now I know what to do. This may sound corny, but this works. If you're sitting down somewhere and you're feeling yourself like, gosh, I'm so overwhelmed, I don't know what to do, stand up, shake that energy off, and then move chairs. So if you're sitting on your couch at home, stand up, shake the energy off, and hold the intention that while you're shifting chairs, you're finding your adult in the next chair that you sit in. I know that sounds crazy. It works. I have chairs in my office. I tell people this, stand up, shake it off, and move. And they go, wow, the energy over here is different. I'm like, yeah, that's the adult. We're shaking it off and moving. So physically moving, changing your state is powerful for finding your adult. And remember, sometimes our tricky little ego in that adolescent chair shows up with a mask on of the adult. I have people that will say to me sometimes, gosh, my adult was really critical of me. No, that's not your adult, honey. That's not what the adult would do. But it felt like a calm voice. I'm like, no. So we really want to pay attention. Remember, our adult is really present, not judgmental, not blaming. That's not your adult. That's not what your adult would say. That's not what your adult would do. So how do we know then what our adult is? Again, it's this paced energy. Again, but I also can set a boundary from my adult that's like, don't do that to me again. That's not exactly this zenned out boundary, but it's a boundary and I might raise my voice. Doesn't mean we have to raise our voice every time that we set a boundary, but that could be our adult. When we're in our adult, there's just this like knowing. Like sometimes I'll be sitting, I remember sitting with my husband, like, I want to sit and talk to you about something's coming up in this marriage. I just really want to have a conversation with you about this. And I will sit and there's truth coming out and I'm present. And what's interesting is to watch oftentimes when we sit in that state, that person with us mirrors us and they become that state too, if we can hold it. So you just got to hold it and watch the people around you. They'll start coming into their adult with you. That's when people ask me, how do I make sure my kids are being raised in an adult way or by a healthy adult? Then you show up in your adult. That's the key. You're an adult and you're modeling for them what healthy looks like. Doesn't mean you have to have it perfect, friends. Just be healthy. If you make mistakes, apologize, own it like we do in our adult, and move on. There's also this ease that happens, I find, when I'm in my adult. There's this knowing like everything's okay. It's just okay. And it's not good. It's not bad. Everything's just good. There's an okay feeling. When we hear that voice inside, you just know it's truth. I can almost feel the people listening, like shaking their heads. Yes, that does make sense. I've had people say that to me, like, I just know it's true. I don't even know where it came from. I'm like, we don't need to know. But I can tell you, it's coming from either the earth or it's coming from this grounded space or this higher self or the soul. It's like, we get these beautiful statements sometimes on the inside and we know deep down it's such deep truth. Just go with it. And the other thing is we want to start looking for or asking what that next voice is. So sometimes we'll say something to another or to ourselves. And then I ask myself, what's the next voice? So I might say something limiting. Let's say like, oh my God, I'll never get this done. How am I going to get all these podcasts done? I'm going to this training and I don't have time and I'll be in this panic and da 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 da. And then when I'm done talking, I'll say to myself, or I'll ask myself, hey, what's the next voice? And then I realize the next voice is the adult voice. That's the voice of reason. That's the voice of consciousness and presence. So I'll wait and I'll say, what's the next voice when I'm in this panic? And then I'll hear this voice come in and say, one thing at a time, Michelle, it'll all get done. Or let's break out your calendar. We can make this work. It's this, all of a sudden I feel like, the whole world is okay. I will get everything done. No worry. And guess what? It gets all done. It all gets done. So ask yourself, what's the next voice? If you're scared, ask yourself, what's the next voice? And then wait, get quiet and let that next voice come in. Be open to what's coming in, okay? Because the ego comes in loud and speaks quickly. The ego will say things like, I know what to do, Michelle. We need to get over here. And if we can ask so-and-so for help and we'll get those podcasts done. Don't worry about it. Blah, blah, blah. It's like quick and it makes me more panicky. If it makes you more panicky, you're still in that egoic adolescent chair. So instead, wait. Don't be impatient. Just wait. And that new truth will come from inside. And you'll go, oh, there it is. That's my answer. The adult is paced. It's clear. It's truthful. It feels different. And again, when you've experienced it, you'll know there's a difference. It's more solid. Okay. So that's also your adult. Someone asked me the other day, and this woman, I was reading about her on social media. She had set this beautiful boundary. She had set this, she was talking about her husband who was late getting home from work and he didn't say he was going to be late. And he ended up going out with a bunch of guys after work and did not even get home till 2 a.m. And she thought he was going to be home for dinner. And when she called, he didn't answer. So she was really, really angry and she was writing in and she said, would anyone be able to tell me, is this okay to feel so angry? I don't think I was in my adult chair because I was so angry, but I also know that I'm going to let him know that this is not okay, which is another adult chair statement. This is just not okay. It's a beautiful boundary. But she said, I don't know that I was in my adult, but for the first time in my life, first time in my marriage, I let myself feel angry when he did this to me because he's done this to me many times where he just doesn't show up and he doesn't get home till midnight or 2 a.m. So of course I quickly chimed in and said, yes, 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 yes. The adult can get angry, everybody. Remember, our adult is connecting into the child chair, which is the inner child, and it's all of our beautiful emotions. So an emotion is anger. That's one of our many, and it's okay to feel angry. So feel angry. And now the difference is, and this is I think what's tricky, is that rage is different than anger. So rage is explosive anger from the adolescent chair, where anger can be really, really angry, and it's a beautiful emotion. There's a lot of power in our anger, and it oftentimes helps us to set a boundary. I'm not recommending that anybody walk around angry every day. That would be anger issues. I'm not saying that, but I am suggesting when you're angry, let yourself be angry. Don't carry the anger for days on end, but let that anger through. Our adults have anger. That's fine. Now, when you're throwing things around the room and screaming and yelling, that's explosive anger. That would be rage. That is not healthy anger. Healthy anger, though, is okay. So I hope you found this helpful. I just want to reiterate one thing. The biggest takeaway here is to stay connected to yourself. Huge. People will say to me, I don't have really great boundaries. I don't know how to do that. I'm not saying not to get boundary training or practice boundaries, but I am going to say this. We are connected to the higher self, which is connected to something much, much, much bigger than we are. Call it God, call it source, call it whatever, universe, whatever you'd like to call it. We're all attached to that same thing. And that energy is incredibly powerful, and we all have access to it. So I don't care if you've never had experience with something. We can tap into that energy if we are connected to ourselves. That's why it's so important to stay connected to yourself. So again, what does that mean? It means I'm really connected to what I am feeling emotionally speaking, even what I'm feeling physically speaking. I am observing my thoughts instead of getting carried away into a story and assumption by those thoughts, because that's what disconnects us from self. I want to observe my thoughts, really pay attention to what I'm feeling and let them flow through me and land back in presence with fact and truth. When I'm living there, I'm staying connected to myself. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the adult chair. And let me tell you, it will transform you. I promise. I have heard from probably tens of thousands of you now that are telling me every single day, thank you, I am transformed. And I'm just living in fact and truth. I mean, that's as simple as that. It busts through stories, assumptions. It busts through all the stuff that gets us carried away. It really distracts us from ourselves. When we're stuck in blame, when we're stuck in victim, you've heard me say, drop that cement suitcase. This is why. Because when you're looking backwards on your path, blaming someone, dragging around a cement suitcase of blame and anger and yuck and victim, guess what? You're disconnected from yourself. That's why we forgive and move on, not for anybody else but yourself. That's it. Doesn't help anybody but you. My goal, my job is to help you to stay connected to yourself so you can stay in your adult chair and feel the power of this energy that we all have access to that is streaming through us right down into the earth if we don't block it. We pinch ourselves off from that beautiful energy. And in that energy is knowings, wisdom, truth, knowledge, all of the things that we're looking for every single day. So stop pinching yourself off. Stay present. Bust those stories, you guys. Stop with the stories. Stay in fact and truth. And I just talked with someone the other day again about her life, and it was awful, and it was a horrendous childhood. And she just turned 50. And I said, how perfect. Time for Act 2. Let's write a new script for the rest of your life. And let's not look backwards anymore. And you know what? She loved it. She says, I don't want to go back there. I said, I don't want to go back there either. Let's not do it. There's no point. She had spent a long time blaming people. And I said, you got to be done, honey, if we want to build a new Act 2 and build a new life. So stay present and connected for yourself. It is freedom, I promise you. I promise you. Okay, I'm climbing off of my soapbox. You know, I love you guys so much. I love doing this and the show, and I hope this has helped you. I've just had a lot of different questions come in. I know a lot of you in the adult chair group had posted questions when I asked, what topics do you want to hear on the podcast? And I was like, woo, a lot of great topics. But a lot of people wrote in, even on Instagram, like asking a lot of questions about the adults. So this was just a show to help you, just a reminder show, I guess, for the adult chair and how you know what it is and where is it and am I connected to it and all of that. So a further explanation, I guess, of the adult chair. Okay, I'm out. Happy Halloween. Dress up, post pictures. I love seeing pictures on social media. Let's see who you're going to be for Halloween. Have fun tonight, you guys, if you are celebrating Halloween. And don't forget, 30-day journaling challenge starts tomorrow at theadultchair.com/30 days. That's 30days. Okay. Love you guys. I will see you, in November. I'll be chatting with you next week. seated right here firmly in my adult chair. And I know I'll be chatting with all of you in your adult chairs because you're going to stay connected to yourself this whole week, especially because you're going to be journaling with me every day. Think about that. The collective consciousness that comes with all of us journeying. We have thousands and thousands and thousands of people that do this with us every year. There's a collective consciousness that is going on with this journaling challenge, and it is transformational. So get on it, everybody. I'll put that link in the show notes in case you missed it again, theadultchair.com/30 days. And I love you guys. I will see you next week, seated firmly in my adult chair.